How's it going, guys? Views from the Link TV BirdBuzz edition. I'm your host, Stephen Hellmann, here alongside Tom Aresco, and we're back at it with BirdBuzz. Last week was that very trying week for us with your broken nose and my herniated disc, so we're getting back in the groove of things, and we're excited to be back. Yeah, we needed a bye week.
To get healthy.
Yeah, we just needed it. We were very banged up, and it was that time of year. But luckily, this week was very exciting with the signing of Sam Bradford on Tuesday. So I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens. You guys are buzzing about it, so we're just gonna go through these questions. We have a lot of 15 questions this week, so we're gonna
get them
rapid fire through. Chip Kelly
Oh,
offense through this. So yeah. All right, at Jake Algo 74. How well do you think Sam can do with Peterson's system realistically?
Yeah, I think he can do really well because it's it's like a West Coast offense. Like you said, if Chip gets fired, Sam Bradford should stay because it'll be a more pro style offense. He's a more pro style quarterback. Short throws, accuracy, timing, things like that, things that he's good at and became accustomed to. So I think he's going to do really well.
Yeah, no, I think you will too. They're going to play it at their strengths. They're going to change the tempo up. He's going to be able to audible and do the things that make Sam great. They're going to tailor it around him. At Matt Minty Minton asks, with Bradford back, do you think we should pick up another QB in free agency or in the draft?
Maybe both. You might get rid of Sanchez to save a little bit of money.
Please.
There. Yeah, he really wants that to happen. So do I. He's just not good enough for that price tag. You can get a guy for a couple mil cheaper, and it does make the difference. And then, of course, in the draft, you can count on them drafting a quarterback. It was going to happen regardless of the Sam Bradford deal. So we'll see a couple quarterbacks added for some depth there.
And I think it's good to note for this year, if you don't have Sam Bradford going in this year, you're definitely not making the playoffs. You have a shot to make the playoffs to win the division this year, Sam Bradford.
Yep.
If you don't have him, you're not making the playoffs. I don't care if it's Sanchez. I don't care if it's Paxton Lynch or some other guy that
you can't say for sure, but it's most likely that you're not. So you give yourself a chance to win now, and you also give yourself a chance to build for the future. So
and
it's
relieve
a good situation.
some cap. At Bradley Godfrey asks, now that we locked up Bradford, if you were Roseman, what would you do with the first-round pick?
I would probably go with just the best player available according to need. So if it's if the top 3 linemen are off the board and the best receiver or the top 2 receivers on the board, then just take the receiver. You need an impact player. But if the number 2 or 3rd offensive tackle are there and there's other guys that went, then just take the tackle. You just have to go best player available according to needs. So that's kind of the situation.
It's a toss-up. Those are two big needs on offense for sure. At J3 all day asks our friend Jake. Connor Barwin should be traded. I agree with you, Jake. If the Eagles move Row to safety and Nolan Carroll is not re-signed, what do you think is our best move, second cornerback wise?
Okay, so Connor Barwin should be traded. Yeah, he thinks that. I mean, we'll see what happens there. It's kind of tough to get rid of a guy like that. See what the value is for him. You're definitely not going to get the return on investment that will be. It'll be like a later round pick. It's not going to be a second round.
I just like clearing the cap.
Yeah, clearing the cap is really the biggest thing. And then Eagles move Row to safety. Nolan Carroll's not re-signed. If they want to spend a lot of money on a corner again. Probably not likely, but Janoris Jenkins is pretty good. He's a free agent out of St. Louis. He's a good option, but I think you got to draft a guy, and that could be even your first round pick. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, no, they definitely need one other guy in that secondary. That's for sure. At Dylan Doppelmayr asks, do you see us dropping Walter Thurman III and having Arik Row back at safety and getting a free agent quarterback?
It's kind of a similar question. I think that you're going to see what they do with the Row depending on what is out there to get. So if they can get a safety and that's easier to do, then Row will probably stay at corner. But I think that Row's versatility gives you the option and flexibility in those things to get, okay, so if we can get a corner or we can draft a corner, then you get one. That if he's marginally better than the safety you could get, and then vice versa. So Row gives you the flexibility to go get either or. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, it definitely will be. At Brandon Roser asks, now that Bradford is back, do you think it might have changed DeMarco Murray's mind wanting to leave? That's a good question.
Yeah, I'm not sure that DeMarco Murray really ever wanted to leave. I mean, the reports were out there, but he never said anything.
They're best buds.
Yeah, he never said anything.
Which is really weird. They seem like they have nothing in common.
Yeah, I don't know if that whole thing about them being best buds is even really true to this point. Life happens, people move on. I just think that DeMarco Murray's under contract. He's making a lot of money, so I mean, the best thing he could just do is his play here. So that's kind of the deal.
J Brad 13 asks, what do you think Bradford's stat line will be this year?
I'm going to go with 26 touchdowns, 9 interceptions,
I like
4,000 yards.
27 touchdowns, 9 interceptions.
9 interceptions, okay.
4,001 yards.
Okay, so putting it a little different.
Yeah. No, you're actually, I was gonna say something along the lines of that. So, at Carlos Dorado 2 asks, which round do you think Which round do you think you should draft a QB to be groomed? Who do you like?
I like Dak Prescott. We were just watching highlights of him. Jacoby Brissett's a good quarterback from North Carolina State. 2 guys that are mobile that can make throws.
Mm-hmm.
Hogan from Stanford's good. There's a bunch of guys. There's a bunch of guys late round that are all around the same area. I'm not really too big of an expert on quarterbacks and later round picks at this point. It's a little too early for me. I'll start hitting the mock drafts. It is only about 2 months away now for the draft, so I'm gonna have to get on it soon. But right now, I'm really not a huge college football guy, so the guys I named, I know they're good players, and I'll trust.
So you think they should get someone in 3rd and 4th?
Yeah,
third
definitely.
and 4th? Yeah, okay,
for sure.
At everything in Philly asks, do you think our wide receivers will handle Bradford's passes better? So I guess will they catch the ball this year?
Yeah, I like Greg Lewis as the receiving coach, the receivers coach. He played receiver for us here, and he had some reliable hands, and I think that reliable hands are something that goes overlooked with receivers because it's like, oh, they catch the ball, that's what they do, but it's really put an emphasis on it. Greg Lewis said we're not going to drop the ball, we're just not going to happen. So I think when they slow things down, they focus on the details, I think they can handle the passes a lot better this year.
Well, Jordan Matthews certainly won't be. He's been putting in the work. If you guys follow him on Snapchat, check it out. His workouts are unreal. Next question. The Great White Mexican asks, what wide receivers should we get in free agency or in the draft?
I like, there's a lot of good receivers in the draft you can go on, but it depends on what round. And in free agency, there's a lot of veteran guys if you want one of them, or if you want a younger guy such as, Rashard Matthews or Travis Benjamin, someone like that who we've been talking about for a while. You can go get one of them. I think they're all really good options. It just depends on what's going to fit with, it's funny to say this word, the culture of this team, and that's it's kind of not to be spoken about, but something to be built. And Chip Kelly talked about it a lot, but didn't really build it. Now Doug Peterson, you haven't heard him say it, but he's cultivating a very good vibe for this team.
Yeah, definitely. They're building a good culture, that's for sure. At What?
It's Marcus Epps, it looks like.
Yeah. Do we trade DeMarco? There you go.
We trade DeMarco. I just don't think it's possible with that contract. It's just it's not looking like anyone's going to take that on. So I say no.
Yeah. Next question. At that Ninja Zay asks, do you take Treadwell at 13 if he's there?
It'd be a really, really intriguing option, but I'm going to say you got to go with offensive line in the 1st round. I mean, it's crazy to
stop. It's OL or wide receiver.
It's crazy to think that your 1st round pick is going to sit on the bench behind Peters for a year, but you'll be very thankful that you don't have to go in the draft and force a rookie into playing next year when Peters likely isn't returning to the team.
Well, they could have him play guard and then slide him out.
Or Peters could get hurt and he could get some experience in at right tackle with Lane sliding over and getting more at left. So you can never have enough depth on the offensive line and young talent to bring up. So I think O-line is definitely the top need. But if a receiver of that caliber is there and lineman, you could get one maybe later in the draft, then yeah, sure, go with the receiver.
Yeah. Next question. At Nate Dorley asks, do you think the Eagles re-signing Sam for 2 years, $36 million? Do you like it? Is he worth it?
Yeah, I think that's a great deal. I definitely think he's worth it. I think it's worth the risk, and I don't think there is much risk with it. I think that the $12.5 million cap hit this year is $500,000 less than it was last year. So they were willing to do it last year, and they didn't really get an answer on the guy. They couldn't even give him a fair shake because of all the problems that happened. So give him a fair shake this year. Let them learn this offense with everyone else. Let them come up together, and let's see what they do.
Yeah, I love that Sam's back. Like you said earlier in the year, there was a rare time when they blocked the guy, when Sam made an accurate throw, and when the wide receiver caught the ball. All 3 of those things need to happen for the play to work.
Yep.
And that never happened.
Yeah. And
so you can't pin it all on one guy. There's multiple things.
And I could probably count on one hand the times where a receiver, God forbid, would make a play with the ball, like catch the ball and run and make a big play happen. It was a disaster. Miles Austin, Riley Cooper, really Josh Huff's drops. I mean, they really killed the receiving core. Nelson Aguilar making one big play all year. So these guys need to step up, cut the dead weight. Now we need to start getting guys to start making plays, not just catching the ball. Don't settle with just catching the ball, but catching the ball on a 3rd and 8, catching it a 6-yard pass and breaking a tackle and getting that first down.
Yeah.
Those are what makes a team good. Those are the things that makes receivers good. And that's what you need in a winning team. And we just didn't have anything close to that last year. So let's see what happens.
Next question at Caleb Townsend asks, how far do you think Sam takes us in the playoffs?
I think we can win a game with them, honestly. I think we can make a run with them, to be honest. I don't think it's just going to be Sam. I think it's going to be the team. I think everybody working together is what's going to make you a good team. And I think our defense is going to be better under Jim Schwartz, using guys in a certain way, getting pressure on the quarterback. And I think if we can protect our quarterback and our receivers can, make plays like I just said, I think we can go very far in the playoffs. I really do. I think the sky's the limit with this team.
I got 10-6. They win an ugly playoff game at home in the wild card. That's what I got.
Nice. I agree.
Next question last question at Nick Gaff asks, we should go for 4 out of Notre Dame in the draft. Sorry, I'm Ron Burgundy.
He's Will Fuller. He's a good definitely a good deep threat receiver out of Notre Dame. Our flag football quarterback / receiver played with him or knows him or something like that. So I'm gonna get the insight from him and maybe ask him what he thinks.
We'll do a little more scouting on him.
We'll scout him. But no, I saw him run at the combine. He's really fast. Ran a 4.3, kind of like Deshaun Jackson speed. So we'll see. But but I mean, if he's there at the right time and we can snag him up, then sure. But not in the first round, and he might be one of those late first, early second round guys. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, thank you for the questions this week, and we will see you on Saturday for a little special episode for you guys. I think you're gonna enjoy it. See you next time.